dicing up some sprouts for the babies. And I've already diced up some apples. And we just make them real tiny. And these are some healthy treats that we are feeding when we give them some grit as well. They need grit to be able to have these things, but these are just healthy treats that we feed them every day. This is the grit that we buy from the feed store. It's necessary for chickens to have grit. The baby chicks, we give them the grit pretty much right away. I've read that they can have chick feed without having grit, but I feed them other things as well. I feed them cabbage and berries and spinach and different things, apples. So they need to have the grit available to them because chickens don't have teeth, and that's how they grind up their food to be able to use it. We store our chick feed in a tote with a lid so that the mice can't get to it. And this is the feeder for the chicks. All you do is stick it in until it's full. This one has a closed top. There are ones that you can screw a mason jar in and it continuously feeds, but I find they just waste. They just kick it out and it keeps coming and it gets a big pile of waste. So this one I prefer. Also with the closed top, none of the little teeny tinies can get stuck in it. We've seen it all happen. Also, because we have them in the house and I don't want the giant tote in the house, I just use a half-gallon mason jar and fill that up and bring it in the house to do refills of the mush food. And this one I'll bring out and do out here. It's just easier to be able to dip it like that. But I have this one in the house just for ease of having something nearby. To create the mush food that I feed them, it's just their regular feed. I just save lids off of items, and so I'll just take and put some of the organic, this is baby chick feed, and then this is clean filtered water that I just changed, and I just add it, and that's it. Just let it sit and it turns into a softer mush. The reason we do this is because they seem to have less issues with digestion, especially at first, and they really like it. They eat it and it adds more water to their bodies. It's not such a dry meal, and they think of it as a treat. There you guys go. This morning the chickies had some diced up blueberries, which they love. They've already devoured half of them. And then I've also given them some diced up broccoli and alfalfa sprouts, and then that's the chick feed with water added. So we've got a smorgasbord. We're going to be mixing up a homemade electrolyte for baby chicks that have just come to us from the feed store. So it's going to be a 1/4 of a tablespoon of sugar, a 1/4 of a tablespoon of baking soda, a 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. You don't need much salt, and a little dash of honey. And then you just mix it up, and that's a homemade electrolyte for baby chicks. This is the type of water that we use. You just buy the metal plate that goes onto mason jars, and then they just screw onto the top of the mason jar, and then you flip it and it will just fill to there. We put little stones in at first when the babies are little, so that if they happen to fall asleep by the water, they have a chance of keeping their head out of it. And I have fewer stones than we usually do just because the babies are getting older now, so they don't need as many. And then this is another feeder that we use. You just fill this up and they have access to the dry feed in that, besides the mush food that we make for them.